Today we're going to do a problem that requires us to use the formula from the Pythagorean theorem. In this triangle, we are missing a side length. Since it is a right triangle, we can use the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared to solve for c. So I want you to start by writing out the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The first step is to identify what side is C. So C is always the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is the longest side of the triangle, and it is always across from the 90-degree angle. So I want you to draw an arrow going from the 90-degree angle to the opposite side, and I want you to label that C, the hypotenuse. Once you have identified C, the rest is easier because it does not matter whether 3 is A or 3 is B. For example, I could make 3 equivalent to A and I could make B equivalent to 4. Or I could make 4 equivalent to A and 3 equivalent to B. It doesn't really matter, it won't make a difference. Normally, when we're doing a problem like this, we make the smaller number A and the larger number B, but again, you can do it either way. So this time we're going to make B equivalent to 3, A equivalent to 4, and we do not know what C is equivalent to. So all I did is I replaced the variable A with the variable, with the number 4, and I replaced the variable B with the number 3. Now I'm going to write out what 4 squared means. 4 squared means that you write the 4 2 times. So you multiply the 4 by itself. 2 means that I write the 3 twice. And I have a multiplication sign in between, represented by parentheses in this case. 4 times 4, you get 16. 3 times 3, you get 9. And 16 plus 9 is equivalent to c squared. It is important that you carry each piece downwards. You want to keep this nice and neat so that you don't get anything mixed up. 16 plus 9, you get 25. So again, we carried that down. And then one more time, we're going to carry down the c squared. Now, we have c squared equals 25, but we still do not know yet what c is equivalent to. So we need to get rid of this 2. To do that, you take the square root of it. The square root is the opposite of squaring, and so they're going to cancel each other out. You can also think of it this way. What multiplied by itself is equivalent to c squared? Well, c. If you take c and you multiply it by c, you get c squared. Because really on each of these variables c, you have a power of 1. And when the bases are the same, you add the exponents. So c times c equals c squared. So the square root of c squared equals c. The square root of 25 is 5. You must do the same thing to both sides so that you maintain the equality of the equation. Both sides always have to remain equal. So if you do something to one side, you have to do it to the other side. So c is equal to 5. To check your work, I want you to write out a squared plus b squared equals c squared, just like you did at the beginning. Now you have every single variable. So we said that b was 3, we said that a was 4, and now we are saying that c is 5. If we did this correctly, a squared plus b squared will equal c squared. When you take 4 and you square it, you get 16. When you take 3 and you square it, you get 9. When you take 5 and you square it, you get 25. 16 plus 9 is equivalent to 25. So on both sides of the equal sign, we have a 25. And is it true that 25 equals 25? That is a true statement. Since that is a true statement, we know that we found the correct value for C. So C is equal to 5. And that is how you solve for the hypotenuse of a right triangle. Remember that as long as you have two side lengths of a right triangle, and you know for sure that it is a right triangle, you can solve for the missing side length. So you have to know that it's a right triangle, and you have to have two of the side lengths, and you will always be able to solve for that missing side length.